and welcome to Vibe Cafe. This is a show where we have spontaneous, sometimes controversial and interesting conversations, as well as give you positive vibe and entertainment. My name is Larry Nick, and with me, my co-host.
Okay.
Yeah, looking fab. It's still a
Thank
new
you.
year, so we
It's
can actually still say Happy
Happy
New Year,
guys.
I am super
You
excited.
you really look good. You look amazing.
Thank you. You
and
look
I
amazing
feel so
as well.
happy to be
I
in
mean,
this
still
space.
wearing my Christmas outfits now.
Yeah,
Getting
and,
into
okay,
the new year.
I have my red here.
Right, like a boss chick, you
Exactly.
know. But
I feel
yeah,
really puffed up about
it's
today.
good. Today we're going to have a very interesting conversations. Unlike
Yeah.
you and I, that is always hyped up and giving positive vibe. Some people around this time of the year do not feel all that hyped up, and we'll
Yeah,
get into why
that's
and
true.
what you can do about that when we come back. We'll go on a quick break. We've got movie review, games, and so much more. We have an amazing guest who's going to be coming on to talk about all these and more. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is Vibe Cafe. Welcome back to Vibe Cafe. If you're just joining us today, we're going to be talking about something that is very, very important. We're going to be talking about the January blues. About this time a year, most people don't feel 100%. Their moods get, sour, and this is a contributing factor to so many things, and we're going to get into that. And we also have an expert in the house who's going to be giving us solutions on how to feel pumped and ready for the new year. Her name is Kris Ero. She is a stress mastery and a holistic wellness coach. She also is a brand and corporate communication expert. She's going to be joining us to have this conversation. Hi.
Hello.
And welcome.
Welcome.
How are
Thank
you?
I'm great, thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about wellness generally, but focusing more on the January blues. It's a new year, and apparently this time of the year people don't feel 100. And I just want you to touch on that. Why do you think that is?
First of all, I think I need to say that I'm quite excited that you're talking about this because not a lot of people talk about.
Right.
Some people don't even know what January blues is. If you mention
Exactly.
it. But it's kind of like similar to what we call the Monday blues.
Okay.
A lot of people have that. When you're leaving the weekend, you're approaching Monday, you become suddenly depressed, you become, just feel down in your spirit because you're contemplating a new week. So the same can be applied to, of course, January. It's called blues because it's got a dampening effect on your spirit, on your vibe. Pun intended.
I
So
like the wordplay.
Yeah, so it's got a dampening spirit effect on your vibe, and for a lot of people, January, you're just coming from a celebration period, right? December, Christmas, travels, expenditure, so much. And as short as the December holiday is, for most people, it's actually the longest, if you get what I mean. That is the time that they really let their head down. For some people, they let their head down, but you find that it's during that time they spend the most.
Right.
You're taking care of your family, you're going on a trip, you're giving yourself a well-deserved treat, and you find that you're spending so much that by the time you're approaching January, the thought of going back to work suddenly hits you. The idea that the family members or the friends you've basically seen that period that it comes to you that okay, I'm not going to be able to see them for another period of time. So it hits you, and then there's a lull in your spirit, and then you just go, and the symptoms you experience basically, depression. There's this when your mood is dampened, you're depressed. You don't really have that jog in your spirit to do the same thing that you normally would want to do. So that is basically what January blues is.
Okay. So what do you think? You've mentioned some of the causes for this. You've been on holiday, now you're going back to work. You don't get to see the people that you were hanging out with, your friends, family, and all of that.
And also the thought of paying school fees,
Right.
for some people.
Spending.
Because by the time you've spent your December bonus, for those who work, you've gotten your December bonus and stuff, so you've spent all that. January is usually seen as the longest month in the year.
True.
They say it's 90 days.
Exactly. Because having to survive the spending, because most of the time we spend in December what we spend in sometimes even 3 months. You find that you're spending it in 1 month, maybe over a 2 weeks period. So you have to contemplate the thought of survival. How do I cope? How do I survive? How do I feed? And then for parents, again, as I said, you're thinking of school fees. For some, you're thinking of your rent, So all that comes into play. Your mind, your brain is filled with so much.
Amazing. So adding to that, I saw a research a while ago that said people spend 16% of their annual income during the Christmas festive period.
16% is actually being very conservative. Exactly.
Yeah.
Being very conservative. And now, the economic situation now, it's gotten so bad. It's not like what it was before, especially now that we're coming from the COVID period, right? So you find that you're actually spending more. Your income hasn't increased. So talking about 16%, again, as I said, it's just being conservative. So based on the level, the economic situation, right, and the fact that your income has not increased, I can say you're spending like 40%.
All right. Yeah. So what are some of the things that we can do? Because I know that it's not as serious to the point where I feel depressed, but I also feel the January blues. So for someone who's feeling that way and complaining about the 90 days of January, what are some of the things that we can do to
I think the
improve
first thing
our
I have to
mindset?
say is do not succumb to taking medication.
Okay.
And I'm glad you mentioned that January blues is not as serious, because there's another disorder it's actually called SAD, seasonal affection disorder.
Okay. So what's that about?
So that one is more seasonal. That one has to do with where you encounter shorter periods of sunlight.
Okay.
So it affects you. Do you understand? It affects you. But people usually confuse it with January blues. With SAD, also called SAD, it's actually a clinical diagnosis. But for January blues, it's more psychological.
Okay.
So most people can be tempted to go take drugs to kind of like, hype themselves up, or maybe take some form of energy drinks or whatever. No, you don't really need that. So the first thing I'm going to say is, because it has to do with how you're seeing yourself during that period, what you're thinking. Usually tell people to just pause a little, right? Just pause and learn to practice mindfulness activities. Now, mindfulness activities are activities that ground you. They put you in the present. So you basically are not thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about yesterday. You're just thinking about today. And part of it is being grateful, all right? Try to be grateful for what you have. And once you're practicing gratitude is one of the key things to boosting your wellness, which a lot of people do not understand, because it elevates your positivity. You find that there's something worth living for. There's something worth being, happy and excited about. So that's one of the first things we tell people. Learn to be grateful for the things that you have, and put yourself in the moment. Today, what are you feeling? What's going through you, right? And another thing you can learn to do is, just practice breathing exercises. They do help a lot, right? So when you breathe in, you breathe out. By the time you breathe out, you find that all that anxiety and everything dissipates, and there's a calmness that comes over you. So it kind of like, takes the edge off the bluesy feelings, so to speak. And another thing that you can do for yourself is exercise.
Okay.
Exercise is pretty important, and it doesn't have to be the strenuous, I must go to the gym kind of exercise, because we've also found out that a lot of people that go to the gym are actually depressed in the gym. Right. So it's not about just going to the gym. It's about finding something that basically gets your blood pumping. You can just walk around your estate, for several minutes in a day. We actually advise 30 minutes. Just take a walk around. You can be in your own house. Maybe your environment is not safe or conducive for walking around. You can skip in your room. You can go up and down the staircase, but just do something. So a lot of times that pressure of I have to be in the gym before I am seen to be working out actually has a counterproductive effect. So we really don't focus on that much. Another thing you can do is sleep. Oh yeah,
rest.
Sleep and rest. Yeah, so that's why we say you pause. Sometimes when you're getting into that zone where you're beginning to feel you know, my life, what's going to happen to me in January, you know, and your head is all filled with all that negativity, just pause, just cut off and sleep. And, you know, sleeping is actually helps to boost our immunity. And what some people don't understand is when you're in this bluesy situation, when you're depressed, you find that your immunity is lowered.
Right.
Yeah, that's what anxiety does. Your anxiety increases, your immunity goes down. If you're like during the COVID, one of the major things we kept telling people was try to avoid fear mongering. Try to not get your anxiety, you know, heightened, because it does affect your immunity. But one thing that sleep does is sleep counters that. Sleep helps to boost your immunity. So you try to rest, try to sleep. And at the same time, you know, another thing you can do for yourself is eat well.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're talking about wellness. I'm glad that the discussion, the hype about wellness is increasing. So a lot of people know what it is to eat healthy. But it's also important because when you're depressed, you find that the things that you normally do that are healthy, you find that you're running away from them. Instead of eating the vegetables because you're depressed, you want to make yourself happy, you find you're reaching for that, maybe that alcoholic drink or that energy drink. We do not actually condone energy drinks. We don't think they are healthy. You know, water is the healthiest drink that you can have, and it has enough electrolytes to boost your metabolism and to basically pick you up if that's what you're interested in. You know, so you focus more on that. Eat well, take your vegetables. You never go wrong with taking your vegetables and taking your fruits. And doesn't mean that you should cut down on the foods that you do like to eat, but learn to balance everything out. You know, and then you know, there's another thing that we tell people. A lot of people who are depressed find that they kind of withdraw into themselves, but try and go out. You know, try and connect with the people that matter in your lives, and it's important because that is the grounding factor that you need. But then there's also a twist to it. If you're the kind of person that has always been very outgoing, very extroverted, that might be the time for you to take a step back, you know, and then just focus on yourself, because that outgoing personality can mask your depression, and it causes you to run away from what it is that is troubling you. So you can't, they say a problem is half solved when you admit there's a problem. And a lot of times people try to run away from the problem and they exacerbate their issues. So what we say is, if you're the type that likes to cover your issues with going out, partying, hanging out with friends, talking on the phone, just tone it down a little, you know, and then introspect and find out what it is that's going on with you. But if you're the type that has always been introverted, that is the time you should try and connect with those that matter.
All right.
Yeah.
That's so insightful. But I want to take you back a little bit to talking about the January blues and all the issues around it. You see, personally, I feel that way when it comes to January, and I want to dive more about the financial aspect of all of that and the effects the financial challenges rather brings when it comes to that period. You know, a lot of people come back from the holiday into January and they're in quotes broke, you know. And I feel that is one of the reasons for all of the bluey nature. How do you advise people under this circumstance? Like, how do you manage your resources so that if at all it is responsible for your sadness during the January period, how do you do all of that?
Okay, now this is coming after the spending has been done,
course.
so not before. If it was before, I would say, well, watch how you spend. But now you've already spent, right? So what you're going to do is, I mean, you're going in with limited resources. So you cut your cloth according to your size, basically. So if you used to go out, if we're used to going out every weekend, at least you know for this January I need to survive, because that's the focus. So I'm not going to be going out every weekend. I can't afford it. If you probably were always driving, considering the cost of fuel, you can cut down on that and say, okay, you know what, for January, instead of going everywhere with my car, you know, I can cut it down a little bit. And then just those little things that you do. And it's very important to also realize that worrying never helps.
True.
It never helps. So when you sit and you keep worrying and worrying and worrying, it doesn't help. It actually makes things worse, because all you get to see are the problems. and then your anxiety heightens, and then we talked about the immunity thing. So everything is just tied around it. Do not worry. The more you worry, you don't solve anything. So just calm down, because I mean, there are some things that you can't change. You can't change the fact that you spend so much money, But once you've calmed down, you find that even in the month, you find that opportunities might begin to open for you, where you can make some small income at least before the payday, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
All right. So at this point, I would like for us to check out our fact file, which is something we do. And the fact for today, it says, according to research, January is the most depressing month of the year. In fact, the third Monday in January, also known as Blue Monday, is said to be the most depressing day of the year. And the concept was first published in 2005. I mean, you've said it. I mean, this is something that happens, but seeing this fact, that it's actually the most depressing day of the year.
For most people.
For most people. How can someone who feels that way survive, especially that Monday? How can we survive it this year?
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it. Okay.
Don't think
That's
about
a good advice. It's just another day.
It's just another day.
All right.
Honestly,
Surviving.
yeah, and by the time you have a mindset shift, it reflects in your lifestyle and the decisions and actions that you take.
Thank you so much for this
Beautiful.
conversation.
Thank
I've
you
learned
for
a
having
lot
me.
about wellness,
A
not
whole
just
lot.
that, eating, exercising, like you put in so much into this one conversation. And yeah, I've definitely learned a lot. I'm sure you've learned a thing or two about this, in this conversation. And yeah, I'm super excited. The show still goes on. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, the movie review and the game still is on its way. So don't go anywhere. This is Vibe Cafe. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Vibe Cafe. We are about to review a movie, and today we're talking about Black Site, which is a film that was directed by Sophia Banks Koloma. It's a very, very interesting film, action thriller, another CIA movie, and I have a couple of things to say about it, and we'll get to the rating. But first, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Oh, okay. First off, I would say if you're mindful of language, like you don't like the vulgar and the over excess adult language, please don't watch this movie.
Okay.
Keep off from this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's an action. You know me, I love action movie. I'm in the action. I love the fact that it's an action movie. I love the picture. I love the delivery of action. Yeah, I love so many things about the movie. I can't complain.
Okay, so personally, I also loved it. I love the acting. I love that the lead character was a female.
Yeah.
She was giving me female James Bond vibes,
Yeah, exactly.
And the action scenes were very tight, very good.
Beautiful.
Art direction I also felt like was good as well for this particular film.
Yeah.
The location seemed nice. I'm not sure exactly if it's a VFX or if it was actual location. So if it's VFX, it means that they were really good at that as well. But yeah, overall, it was a great film.
a
I
great
loved
movie.
it.
I enjoyed the
Performance
action.
100. Everything
True.
was good. The story was good as well. This particular action film had a story.
Had a
which is
story.
rare. It's not just shooting people from beginning to
Not
like
just, the blood and the rest. Yeah.
So
it had a
yeah, I loved
storyline.
it as well. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this one an 8.
Exactly, a solid 8.
Yeah.
A solid 8. I'll give
Yeah.
you a solid 8.
Yeah, but if you don't like action at all, you might not like it. If you love action, then this is one that you might want to check out.
Sure.
And let us know how you liked it on social media at Vibe Cafe Show. We'll go on another break. When we come back, we're going to play the game. So don't go anywhere. This is Vibe Cafe. Welcome back to Vibe Cafe. I am pumped. We are about to play the game. So this game is one that I am very excited about. We are going to be playing a riddles game.
Yep.
So you're going to be hearing
whole lot
when where an old man sits, a young
girl cannot see the future.
Yeah, so I'm just
All
ready
right.
for it. Let's dive right into it. The first riddle for you is, Oh, it's a question. Which word is written incorrectly in the dictionary?
I know that already. Is that it?
Yes.
Incorrect. Incorrectly. Incorrect. Incorrectly. Incorrect. Incorrectly. Incorrect. Can we move
Got
on?
it!
Okay. Your first riddle is, what can be seen once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years?
Wait, go again.
What can be seen once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years?
How am I supposed to know that?
This is so tricky.
It's an hour? Ah!
The letter M.
What?
What can be seen once in
No,
a minute,
who
then
comes
twice
up
in a
with
moment?
Oh,
Like, this is
it's
so
actually very.
tricky.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Your riddle. People buy me to eat, but never eat me. What am I?
People buy me to eat,
But they never eat me.
but
What
they
am
never
I?
eat me. People buy me to eat. That's far. I don't think I can get that.
Try. Give a lucky guess.
People buy me to eat. What do I buy and I don't end up eating? I know it's not supposed to be like that, but then again.
Oh,
Okay, please help me out.
okay. A plate. You buy a plate to eat, but you don't eat it.
Like,
These things are
that is
actually
so-
hard.
it's so nice.
I know.
Okay, which type or which tire doesn't move when a car turns right?
This is an engineering question now. Which tire?
Damn. Which tire doesn't move when the car turns right? This is
Huh? Right tire?
no.
The left tire?
No. Like, the answer is even making me laugh.
Which tire? The back tire? What?
The spare tire.
Oh, what?
Like, how? All right.
It's so annoying. Okay. Who makes moves while being seated?
A pompous guy.
Hell. Is that is is that your final answer?
Only a rude guy will make.
It has to be a guy, right?
It has to. Okay, a lady, you?
Wow.
I don't know. Please
Okay,
just tell
a
me.
chess player. Wow.
Damn! That was so.
It was
That
close.
caught me here,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. But
Yeah.
they're actually they're
Yeah,
reasonable.
yeah,
It's
they
just
make real
like,
moves.
you don't
Okay.
think about it.
I am not alive, but I have 5 fingers. What am I?
You're not alive,
Oh, this
but you have 5 fingers.
fingers. I am not alive, but I have 5 fingers. What am I?
What has 5 fingers?
Ah, damn! Like,
Plantain?
really?
It's not alive.
Plantain has fingers.
5.
5.
Ah,
True.
industrial fan.
No.
Last one.
No.
Uh,
Like, just put your hand like this. I want to help you. Yeah.
a slap.
A glove. Like, a
It doesn't
glove.
have 5 fingers.
It
though.
does. It does. Like, when you wear it.
I give up. This is annoying and
It's also
unnecessary,
But
but
it was
yeah,
fun.
it was
Yeah.
fun. You got one,
Yeah.
and I got absolutely nothing.
I won the
crown
crown,
is yours
yeah.
for today, but I'll
Thank
come
you.
back next week and I'll
No
smash it.
problem.
As we always do. Hope you enjoyed it. Please try it with your loved ones. Let us know on social media. We'll come back next week so we do this all over again. So keep a date with us. And in the meantime, follow us on social media at Vibe Cafe Show. Follow me at Larry Nake and
At Fat Malin.
all right, until next time. Bye.